Hello, it's me. It's you. We're here. Many of us are queer. If you're not, I forgive you. That's okay. Hi everybody. YouTube chat bumping today. I know it's a very busy day today, so I thank you for being here. We've got the big game later today, and Matt Dillahunty is streaming right now with Eric. And then there's a calling it now with Jimmy right after. So, it's a busy day. I understand. And again, thank you so much for being here to hang out. I am an EP boy today. Um, I didn't, I don't know. It's like weird. Sometimes I feel like I slept through the night pretty well, but like maybe it's something to do with like waking up in the middle of your sleep cycle or something. Or maybe I didn't actually sleep very well, but it's fine. Anyway, hi Drea. I saw your message. I need to actually read it in depth, but I did see that you messaged me, so sorry for not responding. I'll get to it. Thank you so much for what I think you were offering me. Hi Viren. Hello Max. Max here for once. Oh my goodness. How are your babies doing? Hopefully the reason that you're here is that the babies are not being particularly bothersome at the moment. Oh my god, I forgot to get my water. I'll have to do that in a second. And the YouTube chat is bumping today. Hello, YouTube chat. Blue Phoenix. Fuzzy Logic. Hello. Hammock. Hello. William. Thank you, William, for joining the memberships. I don't really do anything with the memberships, if I'm being completely real. My original intention was to give like some of the benefits that I give to Patreon, but I don't really. It's just like there's going to be somebody who wants to give me money in that particular way, and so I'll let them do it, but I don't like have a plan for what to offer for my memberships on YouTube. Honestly, I tend to direct people more to the Patreon because I just do more with that, and even that I don't do as much as I would like. So honestly, that's kind of part of what the point of trying to get my health figured out is like, okay, I really would like to be just more attentive to these various things and like have like more of a workout. But thank you anyway for joining. I appreciate it. Trans Femme Butches for Life says, I love forgetting I have a stream open and then suddenly hearing music and wondering where the fuck it's coming from. Yeah, I do love, these are some of Jazz Dog's older music that I usually play, and they're a little bit annoyed by it because it's like, I don't know if annoyed is the right word, but Jazz Dog did ask me to play more recent music because I'm playing stuff that was made, back in high school. But it's like bangers. It's chiptune bangers. So, yeah. Hello, Skeptoideus. Hello, Cheeky Bast. New Anna. Hello, hello. Hi, Gay Fesh. Everyday Hero says, hello, Alexander. Last time I was here, you said you like Chapel Roan. Have you listened to her new songs? I think the newest one I've listened to from her is The Subway and The Giver. Those are like the most recent ones. But I purchased her vinyl album, the Midwest Princess vinyl. It's the only vinyl I own. My partner has a vinyl collection, but that's like the only vinyl I own. So yeah, I listen to Chapel Roan on a regular basis. In fact, My Kink is Karma might be my favorite song. Love the dragons. Thank you. Yeah, dragons are part of the aesthetic here. Did I? Yes. February is an ice dragon. I'm sorry that some of the stuff is out of frame. I kind of designed the background with the intention to be standing, but I have been sitting down a lot instead. I have a standing sitting desk. I've been sitting down more recently just because I feel like my chronic fatigue is so shit, but we're working on things. Bean dip. Yes, the big game is the time for bean dip. Babies are sleeping soundly. 4-year-old is sleeping much better lately. Yes, I'm so happy that you're finally getting that rest. I can recommend Cybertown. Yes, Cybertown is one that I play occasionally at the beginning of the stream. Jazz Dog for life. But as far as somebody mentioned beans, and that reminds me, so what is the goal? Do we get a shoe that honks? Well, you have to find out. Honk shoe. Me, 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 me. If we get to the goal of $100, you'll find out what honk shoe means. Chronic emotional fatigue is the pits. Truly, yeah. Like, there's so much stuff going on with me lately. Okay, so updates from this past week or so. Okay, first of all, I have clarified an idea for a video that I want to make from using Moss, because I've had this idea in my head for a long time that I think one of the fundamental conflicts underlying kind of everything in the Game of Thrones universe is like neurodivergence, like the distinction between a society's professed, um, like the professed values and the kind of tension between that and what is actually rewarded. And I think that that is kind of fundamentally a neurodivergent story, because that is like one of the big struggles of being especially autistic is you're being told that you need to do things a certain way, or that this is the expectation, and then when you do that, people are like, no, 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 not like that. Or like, if people, like honesty is a professed value in our society, but then it seems as though the people who actually succeed and like get ahead in life are dishonest, or we're taught that sharing is important, but the people who get ahead in life are viciously individualistic and they don't share, they're not generous. So that has kind of clarified for me, because in watching the new show A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, um it really kind of embodies that in a way that I feel the other series don't, because they're just so sprawling, but this sort of condenses it down into one character basically. So here's a fun thing. I decided to get a copy of the book. I don't own it. This is my library copy. But so I got this copy of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and read all of it, and then I can watch all the spoilers zones of like, I watch so many channels that talk about A Song of Ice and Fire, and I know, because Alt Shift X made a video like 9 years ago about this book series, like this novella series specifically. And so I know some of the stuff that happens way in the future, but I don't know a lot of how you get there. Like, I don't have a lot of details of like, this happens and then this happens. I'm like, okay, vaguely sometime in the future, so and so is going to be in this place, or this person is going to be successful, or this person's going to die. So I know generally some of those things, and I was really like, okay, I'm excited to read the book. However, I run into a conundrum, and maybe you can help me with this, because the most recent episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms came out a little early. They dropped it like Friday night because they didn't want to compete with the big game tonight. Normally, it comes out on Sundays. So the fourth episode out of 6 episodes this season, we're supposed to get 6 episodes, it came out early, and I had the absolute pleasure, and no spoilers, promise, it's worth watching, you should watch it, I'm not going to spoil it. I had the absolute pleasure of seeing that something was about to happen and going, oh fuck, this person's about to show up, oh, it's about to go down, like I swear, that's happening, I can see it, it's gonna happen. And then it did, and then the end of the episode on a cliffhanger. But so I am now struggling with, like, I want to read the book because I want to watch all the way to the end of these videos that I've been watching. They're like, a lot of these videos, they, have a part where they're like, no spoilers for any future events. We're just going to talk about this episode. And then at the end, they have a spoiler zone or a spoiler dungeon where they will reveal future events. And now, again, even though I know some of the future events already, I find like, I don't want you to spoil what's going to happen next episode for me, because I'm enjoying the story and I don't know all the details of how we get from A to B. But now I'm torn. Now I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just read the book sort of along with the show, which means that I'm only going to read a third of this book before I give it back to the library, because this is all 3 of the novellas in one book. And the first book is called The Hedge Knight, and it's kind of, only a third of the story, and it's also that's the first season is going to be just the first novella. So I don't know what to do now. I was like, yeah, I'm going to read ahead and then I'll know all the spoilers. But now I'm just like, damn, that was so viscerally enjoyable to like be watching and go, oh fuck, wait, this is about to happen. And being like, come on, dude, like when is the reveal gonna happen? Like I just made that prediction myself. And like the satisfaction of that was undeniable. Honesty is called out by the dishonest so that others can be lulled into ignoring their dishonesty. Fair criticism. Yeah. The biggest gap always seems to be the idea that bad and evil things will be punished by someone else, and then everyone thinks someone else will do it, up to and including people with the authority thinking they shouldn't or won't or can't. There is a big bystander effect. I agree with this whole, bad and evil things are happening. And like, I will admit that I'm falling into that trap with everything going on with ICE. I have this recurring thought sometimes that if you watched House of the Dragon, you might understand there is only one answer for the crimes that you have visited upon your neighbors. And I'm like, somebody else, though. Somebody else will take care of that. And I will just remain in my tiny corner of the world and I will not do anything. Like, I don't even go to protests or anything. So, yeah, I don't know. There is definitely a feeling like history will judge you, but that's not how it works. History isn't some nebulous force that always balances on the side of good. We have to make that happen. Like we're going to have to charge these people with crimes against humanity. We're going to have to try them for treason, and we're going to have to apply the appropriate consequences for those things. So yeah, it fucking sucks. I don't know Caleb Hyles or Jonathan Young. No, I'm terrible about listening to new music. Honestly, I'm highly resistant. In fact, I had to tell my partner, I'm like, look, if we're like hanging out, you can't just start. I didn't say exactly this, but it was basically like, I really don't like that you just start playing music on your phone when we're in the middle of like hanging out. If there's like a lull in the conversation, I would rather you like ask me if I'm okay with you playing music, because I do not like listening to music the overwhelming majority of the time. Like, I do not want to do it. Exactly, Gayfesh, exactly. Agreed, Drea. Yeah, going to protest is risky as a trans person. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. Like, I'm not trying to get sexually assaulted by a cop. I'm not trying to get put in a prison that I shouldn't be in, that is going to make me more in danger. I'm not trying to have my mask ripped off my face by a cop. I'm not trying to be denied water for an extended period of time because that'll make my health worse. People still trickling in. Hello, trickling into the YouTube chat. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm sorry. I was not catching up in the YouTube chat for a second. Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Is that a band? Sounds fun. Game of Thrones spends so much time on what characters say about each other, and then constantly the truth turns out to be much deeper. That's true. How do I come out as bi to my parents? I mean, Joel, it's really like gonna be dependent on your personal situation. Like, are you still dependent on your parents for like financial things? Are you concerned that they might not be accepting? Like, I don't know. It's troublesome. It might be easier than you think it will be, though. But biphobia is like its own unique little thing. They might be like, oh, well, whatever. This is just a phase. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to tell you how to navigate your parents. I can give some general recommendations, like maybe write them a letter or a note instead of like saying it in person, like that, so that they can have a little bit of time to process, and then you have time to like really think about what you want to say and how you want to say it, or in an email or something. Gayfesh says, I came out as bi to my parents in my mid-30s by getting a bi flag ring and just wearing it. I would be shocked if most people knew what that means. Like, the flags, I think, are a really good way of signaling within the community. But I'm always so interested in, like, how do people know outside the community, like, what the trans flag is, for example? I agree. Biphobia is weird. I really liked Fallout Season 2. I watched like a couple episodes of Fallout Season 1 and I found it incredibly boring, so I haven't gotten back to it. I'm here lurking and playing Morrowind. Nice. That's fun. I haven't been playing. Oh, I played a bunch of World of Warcraft right before we decided to let our subscriptions go away. Like we were paying month by month and we decided to let our subscriptions go because we just weren't playing very much. But for that week, I played a bunch of PvP and I made some gold and I'm like, all right, I'll get back around to this later. What else have I been playing? I guess lots of Picross. I'm a big fan of Picross. Been doing a lot of that. Oh, I picked up Stardew Valley again, and I've been working on my Banished. I'm trying to get my city up to a place where I have about 1,000, like about 1,000 citizens, and I think I'm right around like 600 citizens right now. So I've gotten all of the achievements in Banished, so I'm just trying to fill it out now. Like expand across a map and see if I can get to 1,000. The only problem is like I might genuinely run out of places to put quarries and mines. Yikes. And then yeah, I have Stardew Valley. I'm like working on some long-term achievements, stuff that it's like you don't really feel a daily achievement in terms of the dopamine, but it's stuff like, okay, I need to get to the bottom of this mine, or I need to kill a certain number of these enemies. So that's the kind of stuff I'm working on in my Stardew Valley. I have a tendency with Stardew and with Harvest Moon and all kinds of games like that. I like play it for a while. I usually get to about year 3 and then I will stop playing for a while and then I go back to the game and I restart from the beginning because those first couple years feel super duper rewarding. But, you know, I'm like, I want to start getting some of these longer term achievements, some of this big stuff. Minecraft. Yeah, I get bored playing Minecraft too. Chatter says, I've worn a trans flag chalk bag at the climbing gym, and only other trans people have indicated they know what it means. Hey. Pretty sure I've encountered some people who are oblivious about the trans flag. Yeah, that makes sense. I came out as bi to my dad 20 years ago at 15. He said it was just a phase, Lamau. I guess it was, because now I'm a lesbian trans woman. Yeah, that's funny. I used to play WoW. I'm so proud to be clean of that digital heroin. I was not a happy person when I typed /time on my second most played character. Woo! Yeah. Thankfully, I just I don't have a strong addictive personality, so I don't get stuck on things as bad. Like one of the times that I quit playing WoW was because I was like, it just feels like an obligation, you know? I did the math. I was like, okay, if I pay $15 a month for this, then I feel like I should play it for 30 minutes a day in order to get my value out of it. And then I realized, oh, this game feels like an obligation. And then I was like, I am going to quit playing for a period of time. We quit playing for like 10 years or something. We came back to it when Classic first dropped, and we played some Classic, but it was really hard and not very fun because it had just come out. And now we play WoW Classic when we play Era. I just want them to give me fucking Wrath of the Lich King that doesn't advance into Cataclysm. That's all I want. Blizzard, give me World of Warcraft that progresses through TBC and Wrath and then stop. Let me play Wrath of the Lich King for the rest of my life. It's fucking annoying. Hello, Kitty Tick. I'm waiting for a few games I love to get new updates. I still need to do a full Space Age run on Factorio. I have still only ever beat it on easy vanilla settings. Nice. Minecraft was better when there was less stuff in it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that necessarily. Never played Stardew, but every time I hear about Stardew Valley, the whole game just gets darker and more grim. Like the horrible things you can do in pursuit of relationships. Stardew is low-key a potential evil simulator. I don't personally feel that way, but I guess there's stuff in the game that I don't do, right? I have still not gotten the achievement for getting all of the, what is it called? All of the Joja Mart community development perks. I started a character with the intention of doing that because you have to choose between the community center or the Joja stuff, and you get the same stuff out of it. But I've never gone the capitalist route. Like, I don't know that I'm gonna have to do it at some point if I want to 100% this game, but it just makes me feel bad. And there is other stuff, like you can get divorced, and I have never gotten divorced in Stardew Valley. Like, I just don't, it's just not for me, the evil stuff. But I mean, and I'm not trying to be critical of Shakespeare, but like, in the same way that Fable had two different pathways that you could do, and I understand that or at least I've heard that the new Fable is not going to do necessarily a good and evil, but just rather like different types of charisma or something. But in the old Fable game, you would have to do evil stuff to get evil. And so I feel like any game that has achievements associated with going the evil route could be portrayed as like incentivizing that to an extent. Can I have multiple powers? In Stardew Valley? Yeah, you can. Interestingly, in Stardew Valley, if you get up to, I think what happens is like if you have all of the male characters or all of the female characters as your girlfriend or boyfriend, maybe you have to get them up to a certain level of hearts, but there's an event that happens where if you walk into the building, there's an event where either all of the girls or all of the boys are in there, and by default what happens is they go, "Hey, you two-timer, what's going on with you? I don't like this fact that you're dating everybody." But if you have a lucky rabbit's foot in your inventory when that cutscene happens, they're just like, "Hey, how's it going? It's great to see you. Like, come on, we're having dinner or whatever." And then you get to retain all of them as your girlfriend or boyfriend. So right now, I am married to Abigail. We have one baby, and I am still girlfriend and boyfriend with everybody else in the town who is romanceable. So that's fun. That's how I decided to play this round. I was like, I am going to be everybody's girlfriend this time. I couldn't break Leah's heart like that. Seriously, I marry the one that I like. So I don't know if there's like if there are any rewards for getting divorced or anything. I'm gonna have to do it on one of my old files and not the current one that I actually care about. My most played character in WoW, my most played character literally had a year of playtime on it. Now, sure, some of that was jumping around the auction house doing nothing, but that's a year of my life on one character. Jeez. I don't think I ever got quite that high. I feel like my highest slash played that I can remember was like on my druid at like 80 hours, or not, sorry, 80 hours, 80 days. That could have also been one of my partners though. But I've also always been an altaholic. Like I play alts a lot. I'll have like 3 characters that are max level, or even more characters that are max level, or I'll twink out a character at a lower level. So I'm really like I enjoy leveling in WoW. That's like the thing that I like to do is questing and professions and PvP. Yeah, so it does kind of mean that gets spread out. So I don't actually know. I would have to go. I also have an old account that I abandoned. So it would be impossible for me to quantify. I was unaware of any evil root in Stardew Valley. I hear you can sacrifice children or something in it. Well, basically, if you get divorced and you have children with that character that you were married to, it just deletes the children. I don't think you get anything for it, but it just deletes the children. So I think that might be your friends just kind of being silly and exaggerating it, because that's my understanding anyway. Again, I've never done it. I've never been divorced, but like the characters, sorry, the babies aren't like their own actual characters. As far as I can tell, you cannot give them gifts or anything. There is a friendship mechanic with them, but I don't know if they ever really start having conversation. I mean, I guess I don't usually play that long, but I'll find out soon in my current playthrough if the kid gets any bigger than a toddler. Like, is it ever going to talk? I don't know. I also heard a rumor that there was going to be another Stardew Valley update soon that would kind of bulk out what the children do. But yeah, so there's nowhere for them to go. If you get divorced, then the person you were married to just goes back to living with their parents or whatever, wherever they were living before, and the kids just cease to exist. Polycule Valley sounds a lot more fun than Child Sacrifice, yeah. But if you want one of the other ones to live with you, you do have to get divorced. Like, you know, that's the main thing I think is you can still be dating all the other ones, but you have one that's living with you and they have their little room in your house. So, for example, I would not want to marry Shane because Shane, even though your friendship journey with Shane makes him stop being an alcoholic, still, if he moves into your house, his room has like beer cans and trash on the floor. And I wouldn't want that in my house. They should add child custody battles to Stardew Valley. That would be very funny. What's the word for an agender partner? Friend, thing friend, person friend. This vexes me. I'm agender, and my partner calls me, and to be fair, we're married. So I don't know. It's been a long time since we were only dating, and I think probably when we were dating, I was not as knowledgeable about my trans identity, so it might have just been like girlfriend at the time. But at this point, my partner calls me either his partner, his spouse, or his wife, depending on the context. Just got back from the Cheesecake Factory as a birthday present. Hey, that sounds delicious. No, you did not miss anything important. We're just shooting the shit. I'm just talking about, right now we're talking about video games, so not a particularly exciting conversation. I despise PvP. I would do a little bit of it trying for like holiday achievements or mouse, but it just infuriated me. That's fair. My partner was really into PvP and WoW, and we, as a team up, it was like a lot of fun as a team. It's tough if you don't have people to play with when you're PvP, unless you're a rogue, and then in which case you can go do whatever the fuck you want by yourself. But like, so here, I think that Gayfesh, you might understand this. Everybody else, I'm going to try to explain this as well as I can so that I can help you understand. There is a PvP battleground where it's like, I think it's 10 versus 10 or maybe 20 versus 20. I can't remember. But you like go into this zone where it's like a capture the base. So you go to one of the 5 bases and you basically tag the flag, and that means that your team owns it, and it can be challenged or taken away from you, and you have to strategize and go to the different ones, and like for however long you possess the bases, you gain points, and you're trying to get to like 2,000 points or whatever. The more bases you have at any given time, the quicker your points go up. It's called Arathi Basin. One of the bases in Arathi Basin is at the top of a cliff. There's 2 paths leading up to it on either side, and there's a big fucking cliff drop off on the side of it. So what we would do is, at the time, my character was a druid, which is a shapeshifter, so I could shapeshift into like a cat, and the cat can turn invisible. And then my partner was playing a priest, which was of the race that has a stealth that can turn invisible so long as you're standing completely still. So we would go up there and we would defend that base, and it would appear to the enemy team as though there were no defenders. So it was just the two of us. Now, my partner on his priest would do what's called a mind control, where you temporarily can take control over another character, and he would run them over to the edge of the cliff. But usually they would use the item in their inventory that removes all of the movement impairing effects, like mind control. But I would be sitting there creeping closer to them, because in my cat form, while I'm invisible, I can move. And at the time, I was actually playing the spellcaster version of a druid, so like I could shapeshift, but my primary form of play was not by shapeshifting into a cat. It was by shapeshifting into a big owl bear. And I had a move called Typhoon, which you just push air in front of your character and push any characters or enemies in that kind of cone in front of you. So my partner would mind control them over to the edge. They would pop their trinket to get out of the mind control, and then I would push them off the edge of the cliff with my Typhoon. And it was so fucking fun. Because they would see it was undefended, and so they would only send like one person up there, and it was so fucking funny all the time. And we did other play styles, like my partner would be on his rogue, which is a character that can turn invisible and walk around, and he's got daggers, and he's like got a lot of crowd control moves. And I would play like my priest, for example, on a healer. And so he would have what's called a pocket healer, meaning that all of my healing attention is focused on him. Like, I'll heal other people to some extent, but like the main thing that I'm trying to do is keep him alive, which is useful for a rogue because rogues are quite squishy. Like, they take a lot of damage. So, dude, I thoroughly enjoy PvP. Arathi Basin is one of my favorite things. Oh, and now when I've been playing my druid recently, I have been in the specialization for the cat, which is kind of like a rogue. It does damage primarily through bleeds, like damage over time effects. And then I also have like a sub-specialization of the bear form, and the bear is kind of like a tank. It's kind of like a warrior in that it can take a lot of damage and it has a high armor rating. So I've been playing Capture the Flag in Warsong Gulch, and Capture the Flag is fun, especially on my character that can shapeshift, because I can grab the flag. You cannot use sprint or like dash, or you'll drop the flag. However, I can shapeshift into the cheetah cat form, like cheetah, and it has like an increased movement speed. So I can capture the flag, run all the way across the open field in my cheetah form, and then if the enemies start trying to attack me, I can switch into my bear form, which has like plus 300% armor rating. And I'm like, you can't fucking do anything to me. I am in full PvP gear. It's a really fun way to play. It's a really fun thing to do. Oh, that's so sweet. Helen says, my husband and I got married last year. We transitioned in opposite directions starting 5 years ago and have known each other for 30 plus years. I had never pictured myself as a wife, but here I am. Hey, that's so sweet. I love that. My partner is very cis, but I can appreciate the journey of like going opposite directions and being in love and everything. That's so cool. I was a PvP priest mind controlling fools to hilariously fatal fates. Yes, it's so fun. I swear this WoW talk is triggering dopamine receptors the same way talking about my old substance addictions would. Like, why did Blizzard have to end up being such an awful company? Yeah, I know. I get it. It was so fun during the like 10 years that we did not play WoW, how we would still be able to fall into an hour-long conversation about it. Like, oh, do you remember when we would do this? And like, oh, that one quest line, where was that quest line? Oh yeah, I really loved questing through that zone for an hour and a half. Very fun. Oh, love poems and rage. You got me there. I remember spell stealing slow fall off of an enemy mage when they jumped off Lumbermill. It was glorious. That's so fucking funny. A mage is a spellcaster class that has a move called slow fall, so you can jump off of the cliff and then it'll just like you'll just continue falling slowly at your walking speed. Um, and you could what class has spell steal? Was it mage? So you could just like basically steal a buff off of them. So you could just you could basically dispel their slow fall, and then they're just like falling slowly, and then you take it off, and they just go, oh my god, and they would die. By the way, it was a cliff that was high enough that it would often, especially if there had already been any combat or if there were any damage over time effects on that character, just or like maybe the fall itself wouldn't kill them because you take fall damage, but maybe the fall itself wouldn't kill them. But if you put any damage over time effects on them, and especially because a mage doesn't really have any ability to heal itself unless you have a first aid bandage, but if you take any damage, it interrupts that, and then you're on a 1 minute cooldown. So anyway, this is a game that I could literally talk about for hours, and I will try to stop now. Having the cloak when you got shoved off of AB. Yeah, totally. Alice says, my spouse and I are also transitioning together in opposite directions. It's been fantastic so far. I imagine that it makes you very close to each other. I know, like, some people go T for T because they're really frustrated that a cis partner is not going to understand. And, like, frankly, there were growing pains. Like, I've been with my partner for 17 years almost. And like that was definitely, growing pains, and we still have stuff that we need to talk about. Like, I haven't really gotten into the whole like a serious conversation about the potential of me having any kind of surgery. And I'm hoping that like being in couples therapy will help equip us with some of the communication skills to deal with some of those issues. Like, are these things going to be deal breakers later on? I don't know. I was also on my okay. Mages could spell steal. Okay, cool. That's neat. I used to work on WoW, and big sigh. Ooh, that sounds. It's really fun because I was recently told that in the beginning of World of Warcraft, there were people who worked at the company who would frequently be playing, so you could like contact people who worked there during gameplay in a way where now the game is so enormous and you have to do everything through tickets. Once I popped slow fall to jump off AB, and at the same time someone hit me with a typhoon, and the game fucking yeeted me all the way to the mine. It's literally across the map. That's crazy. Oh man, I fucking love World of Warcraft. It's so stupid. Just imagine being on the lumber mill and watching you just like zoom across the map. That's crazy. Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, I'm gonna cry. That's crazy. Okay. I'm okay. Everything's okay. Oh boy. I'm gonna fill my water and then I'll be right back. I'll only be gone for like 20 seconds. Don't go anywhere. I told you I'd be right back. All right. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Why is YouTube only telling me Lux is live now? What the fuck, YouTube? I don't know, man. I think part of it is like you have to select all notifications. Like, okay, the whole thing on YouTube where you click the bell. You click the bell, and I think if it's on personalized notifications, then it'll just kind of decide when to send them to you. But if you click all, maybe it doesn't like more consistently. I don't really know. I only have notifications turned on for comment etiquette. Oh, thank you so much, Chaos Gremlin. I am never going to have a bird for a pet, but thank you so much for that recommendation. If I want to go deaf, then I will get a sun conure. Cool. My YouTube notifs are always 20 to 30 minutes late, regardless of settings. Oof. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. It's kind of annoying. But it's a huge company with tens of thousands of creators and millions of users, so I get it at a certain point. Ooh, excuse me. Ew. I was a Blizzard mega fan. My best friend since I was 5 ended up working there, and then I saw him in the Cosby Room photo. Ew, yikes. Birds are awesome pets, but they are jerks too. Listen, I like birds of prey. I like birds of prey. I do not care for almost any other kind of bird. I find them really annoying. I have a flock of budgies and I love them, but I also hate them. That's going to be me. We're about to get a kitten in a couple weeks, and I'm expecting that there might be some combination of I love this new little tiny mammal, but also stop destroying my things. Speaking to the poll, what game? The big game. The big game. It's the Seahawks versus the Patriots in the Superb Owl. The big game is today in like 2 hours. Kitten, yeah. I would have wanted to get one, like honestly in early January, but my partner was like not quite as on board with getting one so soon, and also my partner wanted to take time off work so that he could, spend at least a few days bonding with the new cat. So yeah, we're gonna get a new cat. And so I will not be streaming on. So yeah, in 2 weeks, that weekend, we're gonna get a new kitty cat, and probably it's gonna be a kitten. Or at least like less than a year old or something. I don't know. The goal is to hopefully get a cat that we will get to have for the next 15 years. Yeah. Gayfesh notes that you have to. Oh my god, my hair is pulling. Why are you doing that? You got to cheer for the Seahawks because the Patriots owner is in the Epstein files. Yeah. Go Seahawks. I don't give a shit about football at all, but I live near Seattle-ish, and I understand that it's fun to make fun of the Patriots, even in the best of times. And now we find out that the coach is in the Epstein files, or the owner, not the coach, the owner is in the Epstein files. So yeah, fuck it. My cat is such an intentional asshole. I love him more than life itself. Yeah. Kitten Cam live stream. So probably what I'm going to do is when we get the cat, any pictures that I take for the first week or two are going to go up on my Patreon only. Only on my Patreon. Maybe as a members only post on YouTube memberships as well. But the goal is like that's going to be a Patreon exclusive because I feel like I don't offer my patrons enough exclusive stuff. So for the first couple weeks, and I probably won't bring them up on stream. I'll probably let them like get acclimated for at least a few weeks, if not a few months, before I start like picking them up to show them on stream. Yeah. Seahawks is the PNW's only foosball team, so you gotta. Yeah. I was saying, I saw some people in Oregon talking about how they were like, we should light up our bridges in Seahawks colors because it's like the closest we got. So that's pretty funny to me. And also fuck the Patriots, so I get it. It's multifaceted. What did someone say about Forrest? Someone said something about Forrest a minute ago. You missed Forrest arguing with his anxiously attached parrot. Did he have a parrot? That's very surprising. Did he get rid of it? Hmm. Let's see. What else is going on with me? Oh, okay. So I have a disappointing update. I have a disappointment to share, which is that I got POTS testing and my heart rate did go up what felt to me like a significant amount while I was doing the testing, because they have you like lie down for like 5 to 10 minutes and then they have you stand up and they take your blood pressure and heart rate periodically from like when you're lying down and then several times over the course of like 10 minutes while you're standing up. And I do not qualify for POTS diagnosis because my heart rate didn't go up by 30 beats per minute. And it wasn't 120 beats per minute. So I'm really pretty disappointed. I did cry about it a little bit, that like I don't get easy answers to these questions. Like I was really sincerely hoping that it would just be easy, and it wasn't. And I'm bummed about it. So I've got a couple other things that I have scheduled because I had a follow-up appointment with my doctor to discuss like future, like, okay, what else do we need to do? And they were basically like, yeah, keep doing a lot of the things that you're doing. Like you clearly still have the symptoms that are, so maybe it's not POTS straight up or something, but like here, so keep doing the things. So I'm like, okay, keep eating salt, keep drinking lots of water, wear compression garments. I was encouraged to continue doing the recumbent exercises that I've been doing through the CHOP protocol. So I'm getting back in on that after like I was just sick with strep throat recently. So that's bummer. I was given a beta blocker, a super duper itty bitty baby dose of a beta blocker. And honestly, I think that has kind of helped me sleep the last couple nights since I picked it up. My kiddo is super tachycardic, EDS, but no actual POTS DX. Yeah, I know that like generally dysautonomia or EDS, they can have these kind of symptoms without it being full-blown POTS, but I'm just so disappointed that I don't have an easy answer. And I have to get more blood tests done because they want to test my like my vitamins and minerals and stuff. Yeah, instead of POTS, it's PANS, true. So I need to get like, my vitamin levels tested. They ordered an EKG, which I doubt the EKG is going to show anything because it's like you're taking a snapshot of your entire day, so it's probably not going to show anything. Slightly scarier to me is that I have to get an echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound of my heart. So that I'm like nervous. The whole point of getting it is to rule out anything structural, but the idea that there wasn't an easy, yeah, this is just dysautonomia, don't worry about it, just take more salt and take a beta blocker and you're fine. I am like nervous about having to do, well, not nervous about having to do an ultrasound. I don't really care. It's not like, I get it. I've had an ultrasound before. It's not super invasive or difficult, but just the idea that there could be something like legitimately wrong with my heart has me nervous. So that's where I'm at with that. I was annoyed they wouldn't give me a beta blocker for my high blood pressure. I wanted the anti-anxiety side effects without having to get an anxiety DX. That's fair. Yeah, my younger sibling actually, when we were getting them treatment in Kansas, they were put on a beta blocker for anxiety because it like cancels out the adrenaline on your body. So I kind of figured like, okay, a super duper low dose of beta blocker will help with my stress management probably anyway. So here's the other big health update that I got though, which is, so this is annoying. I'm going to be completely legitimately, this is annoying. I had a slightly elevated lipids, I think LDL, like 2 years ago. It was not like super high, but it was like elevated. And my doctor was like, you need to change your diet. And I kind of figured maybe at the time I was just eating too much processed meat. I had just eaten like hot dogs the week before. So I've cut out lots of processed meat. I don't really eat hot dogs. I don't eat red meat as often. Like I only eat red meat maybe once or twice a week now, closer to once most of the time. And I buy the extra lean ground beef, and like I'm doing my best, you know? And I thought like, ooh, I'm doing good. And when I was looking at my test results, it was in the green. But I talked to the doctor and they were like, no, it's still at like 200 and you need to bring it down to 100. So you need to do the Mediterranean diet. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm actually legitimately annoyed that I was like, I thought that I eat like fish a couple times a week or at least once a week. Like I don't know. So I spent my entire morning this morning basically researching Mediterranean diet, and I had already been thinking, yeah, I probably don't eat enough vegetables. I probably need to eat more vegetables. But now it's like I have to, like, I don't know. I am still early on in this current journey of getting to know my new doctor. So actually, my doctor, who I selected as my primary care physician, is on vacation. So I was scheduled with a different doctor to do a follow up just to, get me put on a beta blocker instead of having to wait for the other person to get back from vacation. So we'll see as we continue, like, whomst, and what they tell me to do and everything. But yeah, so I spent all my morning, like, reading about bean bowls. Bean bowls? I'm so frustrated. So that's a whole thing. And I still feel like tired all the time. So, I was like looking up some of these Mediterranean recipes and it's like, dude, this is a lot of fucking work. Oh, on that note, speaking of that, I've told you guys about my Throne wish list, which is throne.com/Luxander. And I have been meaning to get a food processor for a long time. There's a food processor on my wish list. And it's because I can make my own hummus and because I can chop large numbers of vegetables into it. And it's like, damn, I have to probably get it soon. If you guys don't buy it for me, then I'm going to have to probably just buy it for myself as a birthday present. I don't even know if I can fucking afford that. I have to pay like a lot of money for this semester of my kids' college, which like I don't even want to. I'm so fucking annoyed. My kid was supposed to get a grant for being a 12 credit hour student, and they dropped one of their classes without telling me and like deliberately lied and kept it from me. So I'm pissed. And so I'm going to owe like twice as much money as I was going to pay for their semester. And then taxes are going to come up soon, and I haven't decided like if I'm going to try to run a GoFundMe to pay the taxes or if I'm going to have a couple $1,000s just sitting around to pay them. But like, yeah, so I want this fucking food processor. I've wanted a food processor for so long. It's $250. I cannot justify spending on myself, but it would make my life so much easier. My friend has that Barad-dûr Lego set. It's amazing. I know. That's $450 of like, I might push during my birthday month. I might be like, hey, please, if you're going to donate any money to me, instead contribute it to this because I will never buy this for myself, but I want it so bad. I want it so bad. I don't normally want Lego sets that bad, but I want it so bad. I got put on beta blockers and now I can't stop listening to Joe Rogan. True. I produce a lot of cholesterol naturally. Yeah, I remember Max, and I don't know if you're still here, Max, but I remember Max saying that oh my god, that like sometimes it's sort of genetic, and even if you change your diet, it doesn't help your cholesterol. So I don't know. I do know that I could be exercising more, and I'm working on it. So trying to build toward that. And like I could be eating more vegetables, and I could do fucking overnight oats, and I'm going to try to I'm like after stream today, I'm going to put together maybe like 3 different containers of overnight oats and like put them in the fridge and eat those over the course of the next few days. I don't really like oatmeal, but we'll see if I can make overnight oats tolerable. Excuse me. $450, that's so much. I mean, yeah, it's a lot, but this also has like almost, so this Lego set has 5.5 thousand. Oh my god, stop. 5.5 thousand Lego pieces. Oh my god, dude, fucking Christ. So it's, as far as Lego goes, if you consider the price of the Lego versus like how much you're getting out of it plus the branding, this is actually like pretty in line with what you would expect. But yes, it's expensive. That's why I have it on crowdfunding. That's why I'm like, hey, you can contribute an amount of money to this. Why is it showing as, it's showing as $530 because of taxes and shipping. Okay, I was like, why the fuck? Because I knew, wait, that seems, I thought it was only $450. Is it showing as $500? Okay, that's more expensive than I thought it was. I don't know if maybe that's just because Throne has to charge like processing fees or something. What is it on Amazon right now? I can't show this to you because I'm not trying to like dox myself on my Amazon, but yeah, on here it's just $460. So, damn, that sucks that it's like so much more expensive on Throne. But I have a Throne wish list and not an Amazon wish list because Throne like protects my address more thoroughly, like more carefully. Tariffs may bump. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. I added this to my Throne wish list from Amazon, so I'm surprised that it's showing. Okay, yeah, price includes service and payment processing fees. So I guess it's like Throne and the payment processing fees for the crowdfund thing specifically. Because I could have put it just as, hey, buy this for me, but I figured no one was going to purchase something straight up for $450 for me. I figured that it would just go like, hey, someone donated $50 to my food processor. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Look at that. 15% funded. Number go up. Thank you. Yes, this is actually going to help me with my living my life stuff and not having to chop a million billion vegetables, and I'll be able to make pesto and hummus and all kinds of wonderful things. Must have taken so much restraint not to delete the kid. Listen, they're in much trouble right now. Much trouble. But also, they kind of are like a little bit suicidal sometimes, and so I have to be kind of careful with how hard I go on it, which feels kind of unfair. As far as like, it's like, okay, so I cannot punish you or consequences or be harsh on you when you fuck me over out of like $600. They owe me that money though. I was like, you're gonna get a part-time job soon and you're gonna owe me that money. So consequences, you're gonna have more chores to do for a little while and you don't get to do that fun thing you wanted to do. So consequences. But yes, I was pissed. I'm still pissed. If you get $100 from donations, will you have to take a nap? Listen, it's a surprise. Honk shoo me me me. Surprise. Mediterranean diet is something I've been looking to shift toward because I'm heavier than I've ever been. Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I've been struggling with feeling like I'm having a hard time losing weight, so maybe eating like 4 servings of vegetables every day will help with that. Hypothetically. I don't know. And yeah, Viren, I guess I should have asked about this cuz I have never gone to college properly. I did trade school, which had a specific set of classes that I was supposed to take. And I was like, cool. I basically went to class 4 days a week from 8:30 to 2 p.m. with a lunch break in the middle. And that was college for me for 2 semesters. And then I got my technical degree, you know? So yeah, saying the move was always supposed to be to take 1 more class than the minimum with the cushion to drop 1 if needed without issue. I also didn't want to overload the kid because they had just done a GED program where they were like in class. So, okay, for if everybody doesn't know, I am trying to help my younger sibling who was educationally neglected for 10 years. They were supposed to be being homeschooled by my parents, and my parents just didn't fucking educate them, and I'm pissed. And so I was trying to like help them get their GED. So we were kind of doing a really intensive crash course of like, okay, let's just do basically homeschooling. I'll buy you a bunch of math books. I'm going to give you a bunch of writing assignments. Like, so we were going through this pretty intensive situation, but they were still at home most of the time. Because this is the other aspect of being neglected in that way, is that they're not like socialized. Like they weren't going anywhere. They were doing 100% of their socializing on the internet. And like also being underweight and like not very physical, you know, because part of what you do in school is walk around to your classes and go to PE classes. So they weren't doing any of that. And consequently, I was like, it's probably going to be a big shift for you to be like going to these GED classes 4 days a week for a few months. So I had them do that. And I was like, okay, you know, why don't you take advantage? Because we found there was like a scholarship or something that was given to people who are like recent graduates or recently got their GED. So I was like, why don't you take advantage of the opportunity to go ahead and be a full-time student right now? And like, I'll still support you and, you know, at least get you through like 1 year of college, you know, like that. It feels like you should just take advantage of that opportunity. I tried not to pressure them into it. I tried to just be like, I think this is a really good idea. I think, you know, it's either this or, you know, it's going to be time for you to get a job and start shifting gears into saving money so you can move out. So I figured I'm trying to give them the best opportunity that I can. So I was like, I strongly recommend you go to school. And they did not tell me that they did not want to. So I was like, let's just give you the 12 hours, 12 credit hours, and we'll do one term or one semester or whatever, and we'll see how it goes after that. And I'll support you if you need. So they dropped one of their classes because it was at an inconvenient time of the day because they didn't pay attention to when the classes were scheduled. So it was like it was going to get in the way of something else. And so they just, like, they slept through the first class. Oh, and it was through Zoom, and they couldn't get the Zoom to work. So they just didn't ask me for help and didn't say anything about it and just dropped the class. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing is that with that scholarship, it would have been half the price. So for 3 classes, it was like 3 classes to get them to the 12 hours. It would have been, you know, like it would have been $2,000 for the 3 classes, but they got this grant, and so it brought it down to like $600. And now with only the 2 classes, it's going to be like $1,200. So I'm like, oh, okay, you fucked me big time on this one. That's not cool, like on so many levels. And I'm like not entirely done being upset about it. So that's the situation. And I'm struggling with how I feel about it and like what we should do next. I have an idea of what we should do next, but like my patience is like, oh, okay, I was trying to do you a favor with this, and now you've like lied to me, not for the first time. It's like the 3rd time that they've lied to me about something that I cared about, that I know of. And yeah, so I'm pissed. And you know, I'm trying not to just be like, get the fuck out of my house, even though I kind of want to. So frustrating. Thanks, Fern. Appreciate you. Speaking of Fern, my partner and I just watched the first like 8 episodes of Frieren last night, and it is very fun. And there's a character in it called Fern, and I was like, damn, Fern goes hard as a name. It's much like moss. Single syllable, plant related, ancient, beautiful. Did they drop it before the deadline? I actually don't know if they dropped it. That's actually something that I need to touch base, like, because I don't know if they dropped it or if they just stopped showing up. Because in which case, like, am I going to be on the hook for all of the cost of that class? I actually don't know. because I guess like it doesn't automatically drop. They never showed up for even one class of that particular class. So actually, is that just like an F? Is that just like a 0 for that credit? And like I'm still gonna have to pay for it? I don't actually know. Legos as decorations are so cool. True. I have oh, it's off screen right now again because I shifted this. I need to move all of this stuff if I'm going to be continuing to sit down during shows. But I have an orchid up here. I have another orchid in my kitchen. I have another bouquet of Lego flowers in my kitchen. um does Sprout work as a name? Sprout does work as a name. It just doesn't convey maturity. I think Sprout is more of like a, I don't know, it sounds like a baby. Filthy balanced druids. Yeah. I love balanced druids, but I'm playing a feral druid right now, Chaos Gremlin, because I don't have Typhoon. Like I don't have the utility I want. I'm not a good example to follow because I did 18 to 19 credit hours and also took summer classes my last 2 years of undergrad. Yeah, I get it. I get it. If they never showed up, the professor will usually drop the student to get someone in off of the wait list, so it counts as a drop before the deadline, but you can't assume every professor does that. Yeah, let's fucking hope, because I'm going to be super pissed if I owe, like, the full $2,000 or whatever it was. Freeman is great. Shame its most memed discourse is related to how it treats demons because it's such a good meditation on connection. Yeah, I was curious about that as well. I don't want to like spoil things, but I feel like it takes a pretty racist approach to demons, but maybe that's like something that they're gonna have to go through in Frieren, where like they're gonna have to go through some character development on that regard, or maybe they're just gonna stick with this idea that demons are inherently bad because they're predators to humans, like they eat humans, and so they're not redeemable in that sense because it's literally just a predator prey thing. But you run into a problem with that because they are humanoid, or at least they're capable of taking a humanoid form, and they can talk, and they can at least pretend to have feelings. So yeah, I think it's kind of sticky in that regard. But I'm enjoying it as an anime because like, and I've said this to Gayfesh recently with regards to we've been watching Starfleet Academy, and Starfleet Academy is like, it's a high school. Obviously, it's coming after an event in the universe where a lot of people have died and like the Federation has been fractured and stuff. So it's a lot of the characters are coming to it with trauma, but the stakes from episode to episode are like, this kid is really struggling with public speaking, or there's a prank war between the two high schools, and it just feels so relaxed in that way. So I've been enjoying Frieren because it's kind of similar. Like the big epic story is in the past, right? In the first episode, you're like, the big epic story has already occurred, and it's more about the character relationships and how the characters were changed by their journey. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting and enjoyable. And I will watch more. Americans and the big game. Listen, Chaos Gremlin, it's not my fault that the people who own the Superb Owl were like, weren't they suing people because they're like, we have a trademark on the word quote unquote Super Bowl? So, because, like, for example, what I'm doing here is a commercial enterprise. Like, I'm making money doing this. So if I mention the big game, I am technically like making money off of their trademark. So it's not my fault that we there is a financial pressure to say the big game and not superb owl. Teenagers got to test boundaries of what they can get away with, but holy shit, does it suck being the normative factor in their lives. This child is almost 20 years old. I'm like, you need to start acting like an adult. This is what I mean. I'm like, you need to start being able to take this transition into adulthood because I do not want you to live here forever. Yeah, that's what I saw. We only got up to season 1, episode 8. So yeah, they go out of the way to show that every time demons are giving the benefit of the doubt, it goes poorly. Yeah, that is kind of the impression that I get off of the way that Frieren handles demons. So I get it. I know why it's sticky. I am not that interested in watching millionaires play catch. I do not understand the sports ball urges. I have gotten close to understanding the urge for sports ball because I really like watching Rocket League, competitive Rocket League. I don't do it very often. There was kind of a phase where we were into that stuff, my partner and I, but I it made it possible for me to understand why people like sports, because I feel like I don't really care which sport, or like I don't really care which team, when I'm watching Rocket League, I don't have like a team that I'm rooting for. So if there's a really good save, I'm like, oh shit, that was a really good save. Or if there was a really well done goal, like, oh shit, I didn't expect that person to make that goal. That's crazy. I kind of get it for that reason. But overall, I agree with your criticism. Like, I'm not really trying to watch millionaires play catch with each other. It's basically all one kind of glorified advertisement. Like the fact that the advertisements are such a big part of the big game. Like I just don't give a shit. And I understand the cultural impact of the halftime show. Like I can appreciate, Bad Bunny is about to do a show mostly in Spanish. Like I get that. I have an appreciation for that aspect of it. But overall, I'm just like, yeah, I have a very hipster approach to some of these things where I'm just like, I don't really care. That's a big popular thing and I don't have to care about it. I really don't want to tell you the most likely answer to the tuition question. Listen, it's going to be an upfront cost from me, but if I end up having to pay for the class that they stopped showing up to and didn't actually drop, they're just going to owe me twice as much money. So, I'm like, I will pay for the amount that you told me I was going to have to pay after your scholarship covered like most of it, but you will owe me the rest of it. Like you will owe me that before the end of the year kind of thing. Hand egg. Yeah, true. The egg-shaped ball. So that's why you can get special ed services from public schools until you're 21, 22 in the US. Yeah, I know. Like, I've considered before, like, in some functional ways, we're dealing with, like, I don't know, like a developmental disability or something. Like, I don't know. Trying to help a person become a person is difficult in and of itself, but when you're inheriting someone else's person and trying to fix the fact that someone else fucked up. Wait, like, is it a question here if they actually officially drop? Yeah, no, I am 100% certain that they did not officially drop the class. Like, I'm 100% certain that they didn't even know that that's a procedure that they should have done. And I didn't think about it until just now because I've just, the language is dropped the class, but they just stopped like, they just never showed up for it. Not one single time. So yeah, like I feel pretty certain that they did not officially go to anyone and say, hey, I'm not going to be showing up to this class. And I'm just like, listen, if you had told me in fucking December that you don't want to be a full-time student, I would have been receptive to that. You need to make sure that's actually done because that is a major problem. Well, does it matter now? It's fucking February. Like, they will just get a 0 on their transcript if they don't officially drop it. Okay, I mean, I'll have them check and make sure that that's been done. Like, I don't know if they're going to continue with college at this point. My most recent suggestion was like, look, you're clearly super fucking depressed and you're struggling with this, so why don't we just like not have you do, like, I want you have to finish this semester, but maybe after that we'll just take you out of it and we'll reevaluate later this year. So I don't even fucking know if they're gonna go to college. I don't know if it matters if they have a 0 on their transcript, but I don't know. I'll have them check on that this week. Thank you for advising. Are they registered with the academic support office? Does a community college have one of those? I don't know. Let me fucking take some fucking notes. Okay. Dropped class. Get it off the transcript. Thank you for helping me help this person that I'm so fucking annoyed with right now. Because I never went to college. I don't know. Academic support. Office. Okay. I think because it's a community college, they actually have shorter, like, it's more like terms instead of semesters. In which case, it's probably far too late to officially drop the class and not get a refund, and get a refund. Cool. Yeah. This is so fucking frustrating. Yeah, it occurs to me that you don't know if your sibling has a learning or developmental disability because they've been so neglected. Yeah, for sure. And they have had like a lot of mental health struggles. Like, they have described themselves as having depression since they were a teenager. And listen, my dad was neglectful of me too. Like, my dad found out that I was self-harming and he basically went like, "Nah, stop doing that," when I was a teenager. And like, so when my younger sibling, my dad was describing depression and what it is and what it means, and my sibling was like, "Oh, that's me. I feel like that." And they just never did anything about it. So, we're dealing with other issues as well. So, like, I have a kid who has so much anxiety that they can't eat and never wants to leave their room and just like is super depressed. And I'm about to have to be like, listen, you literally have to exercise. You literally have to go outside. Like, it's not optional. And so, like, I don't enjoy being at this place where it's difficult enough for me to remember to do these things and to like manage my own mental health and regulate my emotions. And I don't want to feel like I'm micromanaging. I don't want them to feel like they're being micromanaged, especially because they're almost fucking 20 years old. Like, they've lived with me for 2.5 years, and that I've been educating them for 3 years now. Because we started in like February 3 years ago. So, like, I've been working with them on this stuff, and it feels like we're hitting such a huge regression point, or that, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm expecting you to start doing things. Like, you need to get yourself places and you need to take initiative and you need to start doing things. And I just feel like we're not making the kind of progress that I want to make with that. And I don't want to like revoke the support, but also I'm like, you like, maybe you need a kick in the pants, like get your fucking shit together, dude. Like, I don't know what to do. Community college would have academic support. Okay, I made some notes for some things that we need to handle this week, so we'll see. And it's like little stuff too. Like, I'll message them on Discord and be like, hey, I need to know about such and such, and I just don't get any response or even any acknowledgement. Like, excuse me, hello? That's not fucking cool. Like, it wouldn't be cool if you were my actual kid. It's not cool now in this situation to just not fucking answer my texts. Like, do I need to go beat on your fucking bedroom door every single time I need something from you? I'm trying to respect your privacy. But it's like not cool to just not respond to my messages. Like, hey, I need you to do this thing at the college this week. No response. Like, fuck me then, I guess. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm so fucking irritated. I felt obligated to help in the first place. And honestly, our original deal was like, I'm gonna get you your GED and then we'll see what happens after that. And now they've gotten their GED. But I don't think that they're in a situation where I can be like, okay, you need to move out now. Like, they're not at all in that kind of... Like, I would be super worried. I was also kind of avoidant of my parents at that age, in part because of the stage I was at the time. Sure, yeah, and like, I know, like, you know, I was talking to my friend Amanda a couple years ago about this, and she was like, she was basically trying to express that it's a good thing. If a teenager feels like they can test the boundaries with you, that means that they feel like safe enough to be testing the boundaries. And like, yeah, sure, I guess I can see that. It doesn't make it any less annoying, and it's different. I'm not your parent. You know, it's like I don't have to unconditionally provide you these things. I'm making a choice to provide you these things. And the conditions are like, do a good job at school, do your fucking chores, and take care of yourself. Like, and so I don't feel like it's appropriate to like be mad at me for little things or to like cuss at me or not respond to my fucking messages. Like, like, it's not the same relationship as a parent. Like, I am a parent. Like, it is a parental role. But it's little stuff. Like, I feel like, and like, I'm not very good at showing gratitude either, but it is like a feeling of like, what the fuck am I getting out of this at this point? The fact that you're agonizing over this instead of just turfing them out on the street is a sign that you're a good guardian. From the sound of things, your 20-year-old is delayed, so they have the maturity of a teenager. Maybe. I might also just be like, I might ask my partner to just get more involved with this because he's a little bit more on the like discipline edge of things. And so I don't know if like asking him to be more involved might be helpful, you know, because I feel like he mostly isn't. And so therefore I am a single parent and it's very frustrating. It may be a thankless job now, but the efforts you put in now will be greatly appreciated when they do finally sort their shit out and grow up. This is what I mean. Like, I think being a mom fucking sucks. I think being a dads have it so easy because moms make you do your homework. They make you go to the doctor. They tell you, no, you can't have McDonald's. And people don't appreciate their moms until they're in their 30s. And they're like, wow, mom, thank you for all the fucking toilet paper. You know, like the fact that you stocked that up and I never had to think about it, you know? Like people don't appreciate their moms until much later. It is by far the raw end of the deal as far as like the typical parent dynamic. It fucking sucks. I'll say that in this case it might be true, but I know from experience that pushing boundaries is not always a sign that they feel safe. I was oppositional because I didn't feel safe. Sure. And like I get it if they have trauma, but also like I have done my best to equip them with therapy skills and I'm trying to get them in therapy now. Like it's oh my god, dude, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm complaining about this a lot, but I'm just so frustrated with it. It's like they just got their Medicaid card. And I was like, okay, cool. You need to make an appointment. We need to get you started on these things. Like you need to make an appointment. So the way that my doctor's office does it is I can make an appointment online. Or you should call. And I was like, okay, which one are you going to do? You need to do one of the two of those right now. And they were like, okay, I'll try to like set it up online and make an appointment. And then they came out of their room and I was like, okay, did you make an appointment? And they were like, basically the way that they did it was it's a request for an appointment. And I'm like, that's not what I fucking said to do. That's not good enough. Like, I don't know if that's disproportionate of me, but I'm like, that's not making an appointment. Now you have to wait for someone to get back to you on a healthcare timeline, which is sometimes not fast. Like you should have just fucking called and make the appointment. Because we're waiting for like, you need to be in therapy. You need to be seeing a nutritionist. We need to get you back on hormones because I don't know. I think that they've been on a super low dose of hormones trying to like stretch out what they've had left from their prescription. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? For me, it was my dad who took that proactive role. My mom had undiagnosed depression and hid herself away most of the time. Yeah, I know obviously there are situations where that dynamic doesn't play out the same, but you know, I see so many posts online of like women complaining about their husbands. I follow like Abby Eckel, and you know, so I see a lot of posts and comments and stuff about women complaining about their husbands. So it just is like a common dynamic, it seems like. If you were in Minnesota, I would direct you to multiple groups focused around being trans and a parent. I don't know the experience, but that crew has consistently helped everyone I connected that way. Yeah, like being isolated as a parent also sucks, you know. As a kid, I thought that dads were just there to be abusive. Yeah. This is like the thing that I struggle with my parents is that like, you know, okay, so here's the dynamic. My mom, she had primary custody of me. She was like emotionally and physically abusive, and it was not a very stable home. And also, she made me do a lot of extracurricular activities. She made me do my homework. She expected me to get good grades. And she, you know, had me enrolled in like scholarship programs and stuff like that. I had extracurricular activities every day of the week except for the days that I would go see my dad, and because it was like shared custody. My dad was like my nice parent who didn't abuse me physically. He was playing games with me because he didn't have any friends. So like when he wanted to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, he got me into Yu-Gi-Oh with him, like playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So for the longest time, I was like, my dad is my good parent, but now I'm an adult. And like after seeing the level of neglect that my dad did with my younger siblings, I can think back and go, oh yeah, no, when I moved out of my mom's and in with my dad, he was neglecting me. Like he didn't make sure I had good grades. Like when my dad would take me to a school concert, like I was in orchestra and stuff, he would sit outside in the car on his Game Boy. My mom, bet your ass, was in one of those seats. And it like sucks to be like my abusive parent was a better parent, but she was. And like I still don't really know how to process that. But like my safe space parent was just neglectful and like emotionally checked out and didn't support me. Like when I moved in with my dad, I was 13. And the first semester that I brought home a report card, it was straight A's. And you know, you bring your report card home and you have to have your parents sign it. And my dad made a joke. He was like, "Oh, you know, you got to pump those numbers up." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I am never going to try to get straight A's again for you." Like my mom would have taken me out to get ice cream or something. Like we would have gone and done something. And I would have been rewarded for that. And my dad like played it off like a joke. I was like, "Oh, fuck you," actually. So the lore dump that we're getting today, I did not expect to get into. Being a single dad can suck, especially co-parenting with someone vindictive. Yeah. There's a reason why I also ended up like, so I lived with my mom until I was 13, and then she lost custody of me, and then I lived with my dad. But then I moved in with my now mother-in-law like 2 years later. So, and even then, like, she wasn't particularly involved either. So, like, just a bunch of fumbling the ball over and over again from all of the adults who I needed to take care of me. And now I'm trying to be an adult to take care of someone else. And it's really fucking hard. Especially if it feels like the person you're trying to help is not really cooperating. Kind of an odd thing, right? Neglect is abuse, but a passive one. So easy to understand why that's going to feel safer compared to more active abuse. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like, you know, when they had shared custody, like my dad, it wasn't his job to make sure I was getting good grades or anything like that. So I guess like it was a new dynamic for him to have to care about whether I was getting good grades. Or like I said, he saw that I was self-harming and he was like, "Stop it." And then nothing, he never followed up. He never got me treatment. We never talked about it. I never went to a doctor over it. He didn't check in with me about it later. He just said to stop. And that was it. So, like, I don't know. Our parents did not set us up for success. I don't think that I'm, like, uniquely fucked up either. Like, I don't think in terms of, like, the way that my parents treated me or, like, the ways that they did or did not show up for me. I don't feel like my situation was particularly fucked up or particularly unique. Like, I don't want to go on a whole eugenics, like you should be required to take parenting classes before you can have a kid, but like I think that you should take parenting classes. Like I think that they should be widely available and low cost enough that you can learn. And like if therapy was more easily accessible so that parents were able to regulate their own emotions and like process their own childhood shit so that they don't pass that shit on to their kids. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Noah. A call-in? Anyway, life is fucking hard. This is why I never wanted kids. I mean, like, I think that I want to have my own kids. It's like just totally different. Starting from, first of all, somebody who is sharing your genetics, like sharing half of your genetics, instead of like my younger sibling is a half sibling. Like starting and like, it's like, okay, by the time my kid gets to be 17, I'm at least gonna like know all of the shit that they've gone through for the most part. Instead of being like, oh, we're finding out new things as we go along. Becoming a parent is something almost anyone can do, but it's easier to submit to the desires that lead to being one than it is to put in the effort to read and be a good one. Yeah, truly, yes. It is so easy to become a parent because, like, the idea of parenthood and doing it well is not biologically hardwired in the same way as wanting to fucking make baby, right? Like, the stuff about being a good parent is taught, but the stuff about becoming a parent is wired into you. And you can do it by accident. My mom wasn't exceptionally abusive, but at 46, I'm still processing what happened in my childhood. Yeah. It's like this is like the DBT principle that I hang on to. It's the fundamental dialectical behavioral therapy principle, which is that two things can be true at the same time. First of all, it is in many ways not your fault that you are fucked up the way that you're fucked up right now. You know? Like, all of our parents who fucked us up, like, that's not our fault. And at the same time, it is our responsibility to fix that shit now and to take accountability for the ways in which we're fucked up now and, like, to work on it. Like, those can both be true at the same time. Like, it's not your fault that you're fucked up. And it's also your responsibility to be less fucked up, you know? So, I think a lot of reasons people want to reproduce are selfish. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the, like, reasons people have, like, okay, my mother, at least from what I've been told, my mother had me at age 15, 16, however old she was, specifically because she wanted someone who would love her unconditionally. And that's a bad reason to have a kid. Like, I think I want to have a kid because I know how to not fuck up a kid from COVID. Like, it genuinely for me is a huge part of it is like the future of humanity aspect of it, where it's like everybody else's kids, you know, you're catching COVID while you're pregnant and then you're sending your kid to public school where they're going to catch COVID over and over again. And like, what is the future of humanity going to look like if we don't stop that? So I'm like, I probably should create like at least a couple human beings who aren't going to be fucked up in that way. So for me, it's like, I guess it's sort of selfless in that way, where I'm like, this is a decision that I'm making for the betterment of humanity. I don't know. And like, I think I would be good at it. I feel like I've been pretty good at it despite the challenges that I've been thrown. Why not adopt instead of making a new one? See, the thing that I just said about people getting pregnant and having COVID, and like we don't even understand yet all of the negative impacts that's going to have on babies. Like, if you get COVID while you're pregnant, that baby could have diabetes that it wouldn't have had otherwise. Or it might have neurodevelopmental disorders that it wouldn't have had otherwise. And also, consider that adoption creates a market for children. Like, a market where there is a thing that people want to have, and therefore there is a market for producing and dispensing human beings as a product. So I'm not super comfortable with adoption on its principles either. Yeah, and it affects the kids. Like, I think the reasons people do most things they do or believe what they do aren't a product of active mindful thinking. Yeah, it's like not selfish, but it's not altruistic. It's like, I don't even know if people really understand or examine their reasons for doing things well enough to know what their reasons are for doing things. Like, I think people are like, I want a baby, but they don't really think through any of the reasons for that, because most people are not equipped to examine their own thoughts and feelings and process that and like figure out what to do about any of those things. They're just like, well, I want a baby because I want one. Like, okay, do you want a baby because you want to love someone unconditionally? Do you want someone to love you unconditionally? Do you want someone to be dependent on you? Like, are you having a baby because you think it'll make your marriage better? Like, there's probably a lot of subconscious things going on that you may or may not be aware of. And having the skills to critically examine what you want and why you want it. Like, okay, am I the only person here in chat who feels like just because I want something is not necessarily good enough for me in terms of like, okay, I'll do it? You know, I feel like I have to have good reasons for wanting to do something, or that I have to know that I'll be cool with that decision in a longer term sense. Like, yes, and maybe this comes because, like, I used to want to die all the time. So I am suspicious of my own impulses in that way. Where I'm like, yeah, I want to die, but, like, do I really want to die? Like, is that a good idea? Like, what are the pros and cons of this decision? Like, how would you go about doing that? So it's like, yeah, okay. Ohio says I overanalyze everything. Yeah, I'm like, just because I want to isn't good enough. There's social pressure to reproduce. There are a lot of bad reasons to have a kid. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I agree. Like, people should think more critically about, like, am I in a good position to have a kid? Am I going to be a good parent? Have I deconstructed my own bullshit well enough to be a good parent? How am I going to deal with having a kid who is a, you know, their own whole person, and maybe they're going to disagree with me about important things? Here's something. I think I would really struggle, and so I would need to do some work on this in therapy before I were to try to really go there. But I feel like I would struggle if my kid was assigned male at birth. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like, I guess I feel like maybe I wouldn't connect with that child as well, or like the specific expectations and behaviors that that kid will develop by virtue of growing up a boy. Like, I just feel like I would struggle with that. um so yeah, like I said, like, that's something I would need to go through in therapy. You know, there's homophobic parents who didn't think about the fact that their kid might be gay, and then their kid ends up homeless, right? Like, we need to be mindful of, like, you know, what if this kid is very challenging? I wanted to be a mom at like 9. I'm 30 years old and still nowhere near being able to be a good mom. Yeah. And, like, to be fair too, sometimes it's never going to feel like the right time. You know, like, in my head, I don't want to have a baby until I own a house. But it's like, I'm just going to be pushing things off in a way that may not be reasonable. Like, obviously, if you get the house first, then it's easier to buy the house because then you don't have, like, the baby costing money and preventing you from saving up or whatever. You know, I get it. But yeah, I don't know. It's all complicated. Wanting does not need a reason. Well, okay, like, they're like lower scale things. Like, I just bought myself some bath bombs. That was $20 I did not need to spend. And I didn't get them for any specific reason. I was like, yeah, I just want some. I need to clean my bathtub before I can take a bath in it. So it's like, it's not even like I have a specific plan for, like, oh, I'm going to take a bath on this day or anything. I just wanted some. So, like, okay, lower scale stuff, sure, just do it because you want to. But stuff like, I want to get married, or I want to have a baby, or I want to die, like, you should probably examine that a little closer. No truly intelligent person thinks they are smart. Like, I listen, I just based on observation of other people, I think I might be smart. But I also recognize that I'm pretty fucking dumb in a lot of ways, so when to have kids can also be hugely impacted by where you're living. Rural with a low need for education and low cost of living, it can be okay to have kids earlier than in a place with high education needs and high cost of living requirements. Sure. Yeah, I can see that. Also highly probable that if you and or your partner are neurodivergent, then your kid may have compounded difficulties, and there's a question of could you deal with potentially having to take care of a forever child? I don't think so. Based on my current level of patience with the situation that I'm currently in, no, I don't think so. And like after my younger sibling moves out, there's going to have to be at least a couple of years of me just getting to enjoy living life with my partner before I would be like, let's bring another person into this situation. Because, you know, like you're going to have to spend at least the next 18 years and you're only ever going to get like a week's worth of vacation away from having that person in your house all the time. The most disappointing thing about bath bombs is that they don't explode. True. I think it depends on where you are, but fostering seems to be a better option than adopting based on the whole market thing. At least where I am, fostering is a bit more like a job where you meet the kids' needs and are kept in check by a panel. Adoption can still be an endpoint, but only if a foster placement goes well. Adoption first creating a market for children is indeed very odd. Yeah, I don't dislike the idea of fostering, which, like, that's, I guess, kind of what I signed up to do here is, like, I'm fostering this child until they are able to move out onto their own. I think of it as adoption, or at least in the, you know, because it's not meant to be a temporary, like, oh, they'll go back with their family later. Because I think fostering is, like, yeah, it's generally meant to be more temporary. The kid, you know, because the goal is to reconnect families. Like that's the goal. Separation is traumatic no matter what. Like no matter what, separation has a trauma aspect to it. So the goal is to keep families together. What I think is a real test of whether someone is actually smart is if they think they were born that way, because if they do, nah. That's a really interesting question. I mean, other people were telling me that I was smart when I was very young. So I do think that there might be some level of like heritability in terms of like your tendency to be curious or your tendency to ask questions. But also, I think part of why I was told that I was smart is because I had an extensive vocabulary. Why did I have an extensive vocabulary? Because I was reading a lot. Why was I reading a lot? Because I grew up in a traumatic environment and I was using reading as a form of escapism. So, like, I think that my naturally curious nature and like my tendency toward skepticism, like I don't know if you can, like that inherent thing of like I'm gonna question this authority figure, like I don't know, like when did I develop that? Because I was being abused by my authority figure? Like I don't know, that's actually a really interesting question. I've always considered part of being smart to the way someone is raised. Yeah, I feel like with so many things, human behavior and human traits are, it's like almost impossible in a practical sense to delineate clearly between nature and nurture. Like, even with being trans, it's like, yeah, it seems like it runs in families because I know parents with trans kids. And like my sibling and I are both trans. So it's like, okay, it seems like there might be a genetic component. There's also a lot of queer people in my family. But also, like, you know, there's the theory that being trans has to do with when you're exposed to certain hormones during your neurodevelopment. So it's like, what do you even call that? Because it's literally environmental. It's like literally environmental. If you become trans because your brain is developing and you get more testosterone or something during that phase of neurodevelopment, like that is the environment having a direct impact on your biology. So could you reasonably say that it's one or the other, or is it inherently both? You know, like, so I don't know. It's just really interesting questions. Turtle Birthday, thank you so much for the gifted memberships there on YouTube. I appreciate that. Very, very kind. If only we could peer into alternate timelines to know these answers. True, 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 true. Intelligence isn't a scalar value. It has many dimensions to it. Right. Yeah, that's true too. Like, we even just, there's like sort of academic intelligence, but then there's emotional intelligence. There are lots of like whip smart men out there who are fucking stupid emotionally speaking. Like, they are not aware of their own emotions. They're not aware of the emotions of people around them. They don't have any emotion regulation skills. Like, so just like the distinction between different types of intelligence, and then even within what we might call academic intelligence, is like, are we talking about a propensity toward critical thinking or critical thinking skills? Or is it your deductive reasoning, like your power to deduce? Or is it your ability to connect seemingly unrelated concepts? Is it your ability to solve puzzles? Or is it your ability to solve equations? Like, there are so many different things, and human beings get better at the things that we practice doing. Yeah, and then there's the fact there's just like memorization. Many people equate intelligence with just knowing facts. Like, is your intelligence based on like how well you can remember things so that you can take a test? Memorization is certainly important in a lot of situations, but it does not mean that you are intelligent. How many truly fucking stupid doctors have you met? Like, I don't know. Like, deeply incurious people who have a doctorate or like a graduate degree. Yeah, genes are responsive to the environment, so sometimes literally it is both nurture and nature in that sense. Yeah, totally. I think usually an in utero effect is specified to be in utero rather than environmental because it's not something that can be affected by changing the environment. Well, I mean, if your mom has PCOS, like my mom has PCOS, and if therefore you're like, oh, it could be the case that you'll have high testosterone during this pregnancy. I don't know if spironolactone or any other testosterone blockers are okay to take during pregnancy, but in that sense, you could hypothetically change the environment in utero. Some people have very high kinetic intelligence and are very dumb. Sure. Yeah, being intelligent is subjective because some might think being intelligent involves having good grades, others think it's having good moral values or deep thinking, but it is, yeah, it's dependent on what you value. Like, do you where do you place value on these different traits? Like, I place a high value on like emotional intelligence, but it is not one of the things that I'm thinking of when I am describing intelligence, which is interesting. I'm fully on team get rid of the idea that people are smart because it always leads to dumb rich people being seen as better somehow. Fucking true. Oh my god. There are some truly dumb rich people in the world, and it is very difficult to live in a world where people think like because of the virtue of them having money means that they are smart and they have influence and they understand how things work. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't understand things. You're fucking stupid. And you're too dumb to understand that you're fucking stupid. That's frustrating. God. Who did this? I don't know if it's showing me who did this. It was Viren. Thank you, Viren, for contributing to my food processor on my throne wish list. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I would very much love to own a food processor. Oh, look at that. We're already at 40,101 subscribers. Look at that. We're well on our way to we're well on our way to 50,000 subscribers. Only 9,900 left to go. Yeah, totally. Intelligence as a single measure feels like yet another extreme simplification of an immensely complex system so that people who can't or don't want to think about things can talk about it. That's fair. Dumb and rich is such a destructive combo. Imagine being blackout drunk with $1 billion. Fuck. Oh my god, that's so true. Also, I have to say, I bought some shower steamers, which is different than a bath bomb. It's kind of like a bath bomb, but it's just like a puck that you put on the floor of the shower. You have to kind of put it in a place where it's not sitting in a lot of standing water and the flow of the water isn't hitting it a bunch, or it fucking deteriorates almost immediately. But that's fun. It's a fun little way to boost your shower experience, make it feel more like a spa experience. Unfortunately, one of my hair products that I use in the shower has a very strong peppermint smell. And so I feel like I kind of need to choose between. So, like, maybe I should use a different hair product on the days that I use a shower steamer. Because, like, this morning I showered and I had, I used a rosemary flavored shower steamer, but then I used my peppermint hair stuff and I couldn't smell the rosemary at all. Yeah, Viren's cool. Shout out to Viren. Hope you find a job soon. It's like, it sucks getting your PhD and then the government guts all of the science jobs. That's crazy. I wasn't sure how long today's stream was going to be because I don't feel like I slept very well and my organs are rebelling right now, currently. So I am feeling pretty sleepy. Oh, dude, I want to share though that. So I like in terms of like I'm trying to try new foods and also I'm supposed to be eating more fruits and vegetables now. I tried pomegranate seeds before stream today. It was the first time I've had pomegranate flavored stuff before, but I've never straight up eaten pomegranate seeds. I really wanted like a whole pomegranate fruit, but they didn't have them at the store when I bought my groceries last week. So I got a little cup that had the seeds already in it, and like, wow, they were so crunchy. Did not expect. Super crunchy pomegranate seeds. I can see why they're considered healthy because that's got to be a ton of fiber. It was like, I was like, whoa, like shocked. I got my first little spoonful and I was like, crunch, like, wow, that is a surprise. But it was delicious. So I'm not going to complain about that aspect of it. It did feel like for some of them, like you're chewing it for so long, like in order to make sure you've like got it nice and like, grinded down, that like the fruit part is kind of gone at the end of it. Pomegranate is a lot of work if you buy the fruit whole. I am familiar with the procedure. You like cut it on the axes of the like 5 different parts inside, and then I don't think you're meant to crunch through them. What else do you how you just mulch it and swallow them? But that you get the most benefit from seeds by chewing them, like because it makes the fiber more bioavailable. I can't eat the seeds from pomegranates. Texture is bad. I was very happy with the texture, but I could understand why someone else would not like it very much. I was like, ooh, what a pleasant surprise. That's exciting. It's like when I eat chia seeds. Like I guess if you put chia seeds inside something, like if you put it in yogurt, by the time you're eating them, they're kind of slimed up. So maybe you're not crunching them as much. But the more you crunch them, the more bioavailable the fiber is. You can eat the actual... I mean, I didn't check. Did I just poison myself? Should you crunch the pomegranate seeds? Okay, this website, Southern Living, says the seeds are quite crunchy and the texture may seem unusual at first, but you'll want to make sure you're chewing the seeds and not swallowing them whole. This person says chew them up really well. Excellent fiber source. Yeah, it seems like the general advice is that you should chew the seeds. I've never even considered eating the seeds from pomegranates. I just chew off the juicy cover and spit out the core. If you swallow them whole, they just go through like they went in. Not a good time. The couple times I've had pomegranate, my wife has insisted you eat the seeds. Yeah. Are you supposed to spit out the hard part? You generally, the AI overview, fuck the AI overview, says you generally chew and swallow the whole pomegranate seed called arils because the inner part is small and edible, providing fiber. But if you dislike the crunchy texture or the slight bitterness of the white membrane, you can spit out the inner seed after enjoying the juicy outer part, though most find the entire seed pleasant to eat. Cool. Yeah, I was assuming that that's where the fiber comes from, is from the seed part. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it soon. The hard part is very healthy for you. Yeah, again, like that's my like when you're eating seeds, like you're eating raspberries or blackberries, like you wanna chomp the seeds because that's where the fiber comes from. This seems to be controversial, but chewing the seeds seems to be advised. That's what Google says. Front page Google searches say like, yeah, it might be an unusual texture. It's quite crunchy, but chew them. Crunch them. I was delighted. I was like, wow, this is crunchy and delicious. I'm a big fan. I will get pomegranate again in the future. Absolutely incredible. I also have some strawberries left in my fridge. I'm going to eat those strawberries. My grocery order this week is going to be so weird because I'm not going to change dinners yet because I feed 2 other people, and so I don't want to force everybody else to do the Mediterranean diet. Oh, feta cheese. I need to put that on the list right now before I forget. Okay, let's just put that there, and then feta, because I'm going to forget because I ran out of feta cheese this week. I'm not trying to force my entire family to get on board with the Mediterranean diet, so I'm mostly just going to be changing what I eat during the daytime. But yeah, my grocery list is going to look so weird this week because I'm just adding... I'm going to get a jar of roasted red pepper because it's just one of the many ways that you can incorporate more of those types of food. Obviously you can eat raw vegetables in a Mediterranean diet, but I don't want to get bored almost immediately of this new foods that I'm trying to do. So yeah, new kinds of fruits, all kinds of different vegetables. Oh, and this is just a fun fact I want to share with you all. Recently, I have I'll buy a head of romaine lettuce, and then by the time I get to it, I'm like, ooh, you know what I'm going to do? I get one of my giant mixing bowls, and I take the entire head of lettuce. Sometimes I just rip it apart with my hands, and sometimes I cut it up on this cutting board, but I take an entire thing of romaine lettuce, and I rip it up, and I put that in a bowl, and then I sprinkle feta cheese across the top of it, and then I make my own little individual portion of, I guess vinaigrette. I take red wine vinegar, and olive oil and like a little bit of salt and a little bit of garlic powder often. And then I just shake that up in what used to be a dry seasonings bottle. So one of these little dry seasonings bottles. And I just pour that over it. And so I basically recently have taken to having a salad that is an entire head of romaine lettuce, feta cheese, and some vinaigrette. And it's pretty incredible. Like it's pretty good. It's a pretty amazing, it doesn't keep you full for very long, but it does keep you occupied for a while eating it. Yeah, anyway, that's just a little fun thing that I wanted to share with everybody. Just eating an entire head of lettuce all at once. Like literally, I'm like, I bring this mixing bowl that's this big to my desk, and I'm like, chomp, 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 crunch, 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 nom, nom, until it's all gone. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. I appreciate you. I'm producing the After Dark show later, so I might see some of you in the chat there, and I will be streaming again on Wednesday. So I look forward to seeing you then. Okay. Love y'all. Thanks for hanging out and for giving me advice and for helping me process my feelings and telling me that I'm doing a good job, because I need to hear that sometimes. So thanks. I'll see you Wednesday.